Greetings, people of YouTube, and welcome to Neverending Nightmares. And this Photoshop brush that you see in the main menu, colored red, the color of blood, in case you forgot that's how things work. So, Neverending Nightmares is a horror game by Infinitap Studios game. Infinitap, let's call it Infinitap, because the second word in the name of a studio usually doesn't matter, because it's either a studio or games or studios or games. So, Infinitap made this. It came out about 2 to 3 months ago on Steam, and I think on Ouya, whatever you call that little box. And this is one of them Kickstarter games, which was successfully kickstarted in I think September 2013 for about $100,000. And a year later, we have it right here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start from the very beginning. I think we'll actually, you know what, let's not do, oh yeah, if I select this, I first have to warn you, there will be spoilers, obviously, in this video. They're not necessarily the narrative kind of spoilers, because, let's be honest here, it's hard to spoil the narrative of a, you know, horror game, because, you know, it's about a little girl with blood, or something similar. So it's, but you'll see that, you know, at least one of the two monsters in the game. So, hence, spoilers starting from this point. If you want to experience it on your own, I don't even know why you're watching this video, but here we go. So I haven't, as you can see, I haven't really finished the game. And it has 3 endings, as you can also probably tell, unless YouTube messed up the processing too much. So we're gonna start at first at a very beginning, which starts with this girl who is crying, bleeding, and has a knife in her abdomen. Okay, so you play as this guy who wakes up, and he keeps waking up over and over again. The game is supposedly based on some real nightmares that the main developer was having, and his struggle with mental illness, apparently. So the reason, I mean, I always say this in front of or preceding the videos about horror games, is the reason I make videos about horror games, even though I don't actually like the genre that much, is because I always expect that, you know, maybe this one's different. And this one seemed different because, as you can see, it is a very distinct look, and I do quite like the art style they've used here. It's, I guess the best way to describe it, it seems like it was drawn by a ink pen on a piece of paper, and it's pretty cool. You know, for example, you can see how the darkness is dealt with, like in the shadow. It's just little floating lines, and your character kind of hides behind them, etc. Obviously, there will be card items, as you can see. For example, this door, which indicates that you can access the door. There's only 5 keys in the game, 6 actually. So the 4 directions of movement. Then there is the interaction, which we used on the door, and there's also, if you press shift, I'm using keyboard to operate this, you run around a bit. This guy probably has asthma, because he can't really handle long distance very well. After a while, he just kind of does that. Takes me about 8 seconds to tire himself out completely. And I think his feet probably hurt from all the walking around in the nightmares, and hence his gait. So in the game, you go from a corridor to a corridor, from a room to another room, and you explore. And in many ways, it is kind of an exploration game, albeit a linear one. And as you can tell from what's going on here, the sort of the horror, scary atmosphere is induced mostly through the environment, in the sense of like, ooh, creepy music. He kind of wakes up in the middle of the night. House looks kind of creepy. There's no one around. Oh, that thing just fell down. Must be ghosts. And he seems to be the kid over there, down there. And the girl who was bleeding was his sibling, seemingly. And this is pretty much the entire game. The environments change. I believe these guys are the Kickstarter backers and present as portraits. That's my guess, because they don't make any narrative sense, which is unfortunate. Because for when I first saw it, I was like, oh, maybe there's a puzzle I need to piece together. There is no puzzle. You don't piece together anything. These guys are just there. There are, you know, creepier, I guess, arguably creepier images on the walls than that one, with like, for example, the girl and the guy with the axe. But I don't know, maybe this guy is actually creepier than the other one with an axe. Probably this guy's creepier. So that you walk around, you do quite a lot of walking around, take a look at things. You go into this room and there is, I believe, Bible in Latin, because those are Psalms. So that's that. There's very few things you can actually interact with, which I found disappointing. For example, one of the good things about the game is the minimal UI, and it's so minimal that there isn't any really. And I quite like that. I like that screens that are not cluttered, and you just kind of, you have no health bar, there's no points, there's nothing. That's a cool painting right there. I'd like to have that above my bed. And ooh, a scary figure? No, he's gone. Most of the horror in the game is based on, I think, did we miss a door? Maybe we did. Is based on jump scares and sort of scary looking monsters and blood everywhere. You don't see it now, but you will. We'll get to a point. Oh no, poor birdie. We'll get to a place where there's going to be a lot more of it. So this is kind of the introductory area where you walk around, and it's kind of cool to explore this place. And I like the two-dimensional quality of all the art, and kind of how, like, for example, how he interacts. See how it's kind of almost transparent, I guess. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but I like that. I like that little tiny detail of interaction, and there's those layers of those hand-drawn two-dimensional assets. That's pretty cool. And I would actually rather that this game be completely... Oh no, not that. That was my favorite cup. That this game was actually just that, just going through environments and exploring and looking at them, and even possibly even less of a game than it is now. But that is not the route that the developers have gone down. Can I interact with that? I don't think I can interact with that, but I'm pretty sure I can interact with this. You can't crank it though. That's not an option. So they added some gamey stuff in it. So let's go by that name. It's not a very good name, but some fail states, so to speak. And they're kind of weird. So there are things in the world that can kill you, and I will be showing you at least one of them, possibly two. There's one of them's kind of easy to get to, so I wouldn't have to do a huge video to get to it. And they kill you, and then you kind of wake up again, and you go to that challenge once more. That was a weird transition, wasn't it? Okay, and that's cool, kind of understandable. You know, horror movie, you die, or sorry, horror game, you die, and you come back to life, and that's sort of how things go, right? But then there are things that also kill you, but they advance the story, and to me, that's kind of how shall I put this? Like an ideological, philosophical dissonance in the game, because there is difference between the deaths. Which is, I guess, I don't know, probably a lot of people just have zero problem with this. I felt kind of thrown off by that. That's a bit strange. Alright, so let's advance the story here. I don't think I have to die. Gabby is dead. And you wake up again.
Still sleeping? You promised we'd meet for breakfast.
Huh? Oh,
Are you okay? You look upset.
I'm sorry. I just had a terrible nightmare. I dreamt you were dead.
That's silly. I'm fine. Besides, you always promised you'd take care of your little sister.
Well, that was when we were kids.
It's still true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why don't you try to get back to sleep? I'll wait outside.
So the writing's a bit weird, because why would someone say I wait outside while you sleep, even though we were supposed to have... Anyway, horror, I guess, surreal, right? It's a bit unclear. So that's the sister character. That's the bleeding girl. We could, I guess, go all Freudian on that, and you know, postulate that maybe she is the symbol of a girl coming of age, etc. First menstrual blood, blah blah blah, horror. A lot of horror is based on little girls covered in blood. Again, very Freudian, but it's kind of it's been said many times, and I don't have to make that point probably in this review. I'm not sure we should stay in here. Let's see if there's anything worthwhile to show off here. If not, we're gonna move to another area, which is, you guessed it, Insane Asylum. What horror game or movie would be complete without it? I think a lot of these rooms exist just to put the Kickstarter people in. I think, because they're not functional. And again, I do appreciate some of the are like this cool. This wall over here on the left, it looks cool. That's fine. The guy from Kickstarter, I don't care about him. I find it's slightly weird that I have to look at him. Sort of, it's strange. Can I actually? I think I can't get down there because I need an item. So there's that bit, like there is that gamey. Again, sorry for the use of that word, bit where you have to kind of solve a puzzle, but it's very simple. Like you need an axe for that, and you need a candle to go downstairs. There you go. I spoiled it for you. My apologies, but you probably knew this because you played another game before. Is there anything interesting here? Oh, a bathroom. Who could have known? And because of this, I guess it kind of underlines. See, that's cool. Like this little horse kind of shaking, rocking around, rocking back and forth. I guess is pretty cool, and I do appreciate that. But I don't know. There's, at the same time, the repetition, I understand. It's sort of, oh, it's a dream, repeats itself again and again, and I get that. But in terms of the game, it can be a bit tiring, especially when this guy can't run. He has to walk around slowly everywhere. Sometimes, because of that, sometimes it feels like, oh, we've been here before. It feels like all those rooms and all the slow pace of walking, etc., was added to create an impression that the game is actually longer than it is. So let's get away from this environment because it still takes some time to get to the the scary parts. So instead, why don't we select a nightmare for ourselves? Let's. How quickly does this guy appear? You know what? Let's go to the Insane Asylum. That's probably the worst crimes of this game are committed there. Oh wait, do I not just? How do I restart this level? There we go. Now we're going to the Insane Asylum. Yep. Bleeding little girl with a teddy bear. Original. And we wake up in our cell. See, now it seems like, oh, get away from the door kind of situation, right? Someone's banging on it. There's some distress happening outside in the corridor. But you quickly learn from the game that that's all bullshit in a way, because you know how you learn what is actually dangerous for your character and what isn't, but at the same time, because he has to die to progress the game, like dying to not progress the game kind of loses value. It's insignificant, so you will kind of become unafraid to die. And the point of this kind of horror games that are based on violence and death, etc., is that, oh, you gotta try and stay alive. But if staying alive is only to die later to move on the narrative, it's a bit strange. I don't know. It doesn't make complete sense to me. It's a bit weird. And again, you'll see that these environments will be very, very similar. So you go into the corridor, it probably says different numbers on the cell or whatever, but they're all the same. So all you can do here is just keep going down, appreciate the scenery, look into cells. I think we're coming up on a jump scare here, guys. So, oh, I shouldn't have said it. And now you won't be scared. Or maybe you were scared by that, I don't know. Who am I to say? So I go here, and probably one of the last things I want to show you, and this is hopefully not going to be a very long video. For example, this room, right? I guess it's just because, oh, they used to have hydrotherapy rooms in asylums. And yeah, I guess it looks kind of cool. The abundance of wheelchairs gets a bit annoying. This entire level, let's call it this entire nightmare, in the asylum is just drawn out unnecessarily, I think. And the reason I teleport us over here into this part is to show you one of the monsters, one of the 2 monsters I've seen. I haven't finished the game because I kind of couldn't. Do we see one now? Possibly he's here. And it's a weird thing to say because the entire game is probably about 2 to 3 hours. Unless you're taking it very slow and like looking at all the details everywhere. So see, similar environment. Now you go down instead of going left. And you go down the stairs like it's the first time you're going down the stairs. Someone should give this guy some shoes. Well, actually that's part of the mechanic you'll probably see in a second here. And yeah, so the main reason we're here is because of that monster and because of kind of that bit which makes it more of a game than just a interactive story. For example, see this glass here? I don't know if you can notice on the floor. So as he walks on them, he makes noise. The guy reacts. It's kind of a tutorial, which is fine. It's okay that they do that. And now you're bleeding. That fact that you're bleeding is sort of less important. It's more important that you step on the glass and you kind of go, "Whoa, that hurts." Right. So. I think in storage there's nothing, probably just some bloody things, isn't it? Maybe a Becker's portrait. No, there's nothing here. Okay, and oops, sorry, just kind of walked myself into a corner there. We should be coming up on a monster pretty soon. Hopefully. It would make sense if the monster was here. Oh, there it is. And I didn't plan for him to kill us, but he did. So when he kills you, you wake up. And you wake up not where you started, which would mean that we're punished for dying and we have to go all the way back. You wake up in that corridor where the monster was. So he's gonna be here, right here somewhere. I believe, there he is. So the way you deal with this guy is, he's blind, obviously you can see his eyes are sawn shut. You sort of walk around when he's walking. Don't walk around when he's not walking. If he starts kind of paying attention, you stop. And then you go past. And this is the easier one. Because there's also one that is like, you have to walk around at obstacles. And it becomes a little bit annoying. That bit where you have to walk around the obstacles. I will show you that in a second. It's kind of like, it turns into like pixel hunting, kind of. And that's a bit annoying because it seems like the game had a hard time deciding, or whoever, the people who made the game have a hard time deciding whether they want it to be sort of a pure kind of interactive story, not really interactive, but like the story you just experience by pressing buttons, or they want it to have an actual game. And it's not really an actual game, and because they put those things in there, it's not really interactive fiction anymore either. Not that the dialogues were that good or the story's that good, obviously, but that's a different story. Okay, so this is the bit where it's a little bit more complicated, because there's a giant pile of bodies in the center there, and you have to walk around this guy. I believe the way to do this, and it took me like about 10 attempts. So stand here and wait for him to go this way, and as he's walking down that way, you slowly move down past him. I don't know, maybe it will work out from the first attempt now. Yeah, I think it worked out. So, because I've done it before. And this kind of thing breaks immersion, in the sense that if it's, again, like, this is bringing me back to the idea of which is that the developers want. Do they want this to be a sort of immersive story that I experience, or do they want this to have bits where like I play a game, like a video game with hurdles that I need to overcome? And it is somewhat hard to do both. It is possible to do it with hurdles. Okay, this is also like another very gamey bit. So I need to wait for this guy to come around, and hopefully he's not gonna go all the way here. And as he's going back, I believe is when we follow. And we hide in that little cozy cover. It's almost a cover mechanic. Okay, so we stand here, he will not notice. If we stand still, as long as he doesn't bump into us or hear us walk around, etc. Okay. And there we go. So again, the same as what I was saying is that it's the strangeness of doing that and having that very, very sort of familiar mechanic. I don't know, it completely kills the immersion for me. It's hard enough to follow like a ridiculous horror story about like blood being splattered everywhere and little girls and how they've been killed and how this young man feels guilt for that happening. It's hard enough to do that. See, like for example the door banging, I know that's bullshit because this doesn't happen in the game. No doors open and someone comes out. It doesn't work that way. Either the monster is there or he isn't there. And because of that, because I already realized it like, 2 hours ago, that's not scary. Not even, it's not very scary to begin with. It's a jump scare, It's scary to a degree where like someone comes up to behind you and goes boo, and then you stab them in the neck and you have to explain this to the police. In that sense, it's scary, of course. But other than that, it isn't, especially knowing that that door will never open. Not a chance in hell. Oh, he's gonna eat me. Anyway, you get the idea. There's also a bit in the game where you actually have to hide in a wardrobe from a giant monster. Kind of, well, I guess the Amnesia, I was going to compare it to Amnesia. Amnesia doesn't have a giant monster, but it's the same, very similar idea. Like, and I hear the monster coming, and you hide in a wardrobe, but the monster passes by, and now you can go away and continue your story, etc. etc. So, this is Neverending Nightmares, and in a sense, they are a very accurate title for the game. Not necessarily the way it was intended, I guess. But I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority. All the criticisms I have raised for this game, I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority. Because it's a more or less well-received game. Probably mostly for its art, which I agree is pretty cool. I probably have no problems with the art part of the game. Have other ones with the mechanic, with the story, etc., etc. Anyhow, Neverending Nightmares can be yours on Steam, and I believe some other places. Steam link should be in the description. I think the full price is about £10. Often goes on sales. That's pretty much all we can say about this game. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did so, please consider supporting it in any way you can, and I will see you in the next nightmare. Bye.